Thanks to your feedback, this town hall season, we're going to give you information that we want you to hear prior to coming to town hall so that our time together can be solely focused on questions and answers and having robust discussion around the topics that are most important to you. I'm Crystal Gaines, the Chief Operating Officer, and today I'm going to share with you a little bit of information. It is not meant to answer all of your questions. It's really meant to spark conversation and to give you some highlights of things that we're working on. I'll be discussing topics that are important to membership. You'll hear from Karen Kelly about marketing, recruitment, and advocacy. You'll hear from Emily McIntosh about programs and Chris Bullard about customer care. Today I'm going to focus on our membership plan, priorities and strategy, some information on spring renewal, membership data and voices count information, our next steps in building service unit teams, and a little sneak peek into 2020 convention. I'm excited to share our membership priorities for this coming membership year. Now, priorities help to shape decisions on where we will spend our time and resources. We believe these 5 key items will help with membership sustainability and membership growth. These are not in a particular order, but the first priority that I'll discuss is first-year volunteer retention. We know we need to support our brand new co-leaders better, and we have several initiatives that we're currently working on and that we will be launching very soon to help support brand new leaders, not only in their onboarding, but ongoing development and even proactively reaching out to volunteers throughout the year to make sure that they are getting the support that they need. Next, we're going to continue to focus on infrastructure. This past year, we spent a lot of time redesigning and reorganizing our staffing structure to better meet our volunteers' needs and ultimately serve our girls better. And we're going to continue to do that. We still need to iron out some process and really ensure that communication is seamless and flowing, and that we are focusing on staff training and things of that nature. We're also continuing our focus on rebuilding service units by providing best practices, ensuring consistency across the council, ensuring that there's training for each of the positions, things of that nature. We'll continue to focus on that. We're also thinking a lot about and have begun implementing some initiatives around infrastructure for our highly trained volunteers, particularly in the areas of outdoor and STEM. We know that there is a significant need to have more trained experts in things like canoeing and archery and coding, so that we have a whole pool of volunteers that we can call on to help support programming in those areas. Speaking of programming, you're going to hear from Emily in just a few minutes on a deeper dive into our strategy and what we're going to focus on this year. But to give you a brief introduction, we are going to focus on high impact programming for the council. And that is to help solve some pain points that we have heard continually from you. We know our registration system is a pain point. We know often we have troops that are larger in size that are not able to participate in many of the programs that we have in Focal Point because they're often a small instructor to girl ratio. And we know the planning cycle can be a pain point. By the time you get Focal Point, sit down at a meeting with your girls, look through it, decide what you want to do. Then when you go on to our system and go to register, they're oftentimes full. So what are we going to do? We believe our solution is to focus on high impact council programming. For example, if you came to Back in the Woods, we had almost 300 girls there. It was a full day event. You could not get that program anywhere else. We were the only ones who are doing it. It is unique. It is focused on the Girl Scout leadership experience, and it brings together girls from all over our council. So there is so much value into a program like that. But we know you want to do fun stuff all the time. So what we're building is a program partner kiosk. So those fun, smaller, year-round type events, we want to highlight those program partners. We want to vet them for sure. We want to vet them, put them on this kiosk, and allow you the opportunity to contact those partners directly and set up a time for your troop or your girls to come and visit and participate in their programs. We're also, you'll hear from Emily about some reoccurring programs that we know our members and our girls want, and they want it often, and we'll focus on those. Of course, we have the Kathy Nalvinger Leadership Center that is opening up this summer, and they'll be programming on site there. We want to focus on troop and service unit camping and the support that we can lend for that to happen. We know it's been a pain point in the past, the limited number of weekends and availability at our facilities. And so focusing on higher impact programming and really scheduling out our own council-led programs will offer us the opportunity to really kind of clear the schedule and make that available very soon in the year so that folks can get those service unit camporees and troop camping all planned out. And we'll have a kind of menu of sorts to indicate all of the opportunities that you have and that you can plan while you're on site. More to come on that. You've heard me mention this, and you'll hear Emily talk about it again. Part of our program strategy is focusing on that volunteer infrastructure and really investing in training volunteers in those specialty areas, particularly of outdoor and STEM. And we will be moving away from eCouncil. And I want you to know that as a council, we have understood that eCouncil, which is our current program registration system, hasn't been the best for a while. It's an older system, but we've been waiting. GSUSA, it has an activities, what they call an activities registration that really partners with your current registration system that will make registering for programs, paying for your membership, getting training, all seamless, all in one spot. It's taken a little longer than expected for that to launch for us. And so that's why there's been that little bit of a delay sticking with a program registration system that isn't the best for us. But we can't take it anymore. We're right there with you that it's very frustrating. So for this next cycle, we will be using a different registration system. A priority for us this year in regards to recruitment will be focusing on kindergarten, DAISY level recruitment. A few reasons that Karen will outline later on in this presentation, but this does not mean that we are losing sight of our older girls. Much of our programming is focused around our older girls, much of our retention efforts, but where we are focusing recruitment is with kindergarten. If we have volunteers who want to recruit at middle schools and high schools, and we've got great. One of our #1 strategies for recruitment is building our boots on the ground, our volunteer recruitment workforce. So we want to get everywhere, but right now we don't have the manpower. So we're having to be data driven, and we're having to narrow our focus so that we are going to be successful and not spreading ourselves too thin, being very targeted and seeing success. It's that kind of like that quality over quantity issue. Our last priority is around our brand. We've been talking about brand awareness for years. We are shifting to thinking more about brand relevance. People are aware of us, they know who we are, but what do they know us for? And how can we start to develop language and assets that are going to speak to our audience, that are going to capture the attention of the people that we're targeting. How do we fit in to the world today, and how is Girl Scouts relevant to girls and what girls are looking for and what they want and what they need? I can't wait to hear your feedback on our 5 priorities for this year and any ideas that you have. Let's talk about spring renewal. Why do we do spring renewal? Well, we want our members to commit to another year of Girl Scouting right now, before a lot of our troops take a break over the summer, and while their amazing experiences are fresh in their minds, we want them to say yes again, right now. It also helps with troop operations to have all the renewals taken care of before the busy back to school time. This also gives the council and troops an idea of how many open spots the troop might have, so that placement of new girls can happen efficiently during the busy back to school recruitment season. Opportunity Catalog is a nationwide effort to make finding a troop easier. Many of you, I know, have had that experience when you first wanted to join, that either you couldn't find a troop, if you did find a troop, it was unclear how to get in, or if you did find a troop, maybe they wouldn't let you in. Girl Scouts is an inclusive organization, and it's one of the amazing benefits. One of the amazing benefits is that you get to meet and build friendships with people that you would not have otherwise had the opportunity to know. So one of the problems that Opportunity Catalog addresses is that it's ensuring that troops are not formed based solely on current friendships, but that they're open to any girl and family who wants to join. The idea is that every troop should be open to having at least 12 girls, and any of those open spots will be displayed for families looking to join. Now, you can put notes in there about your troop. For example, maybe your girls have already decided that they want to have a particular focus. You'll have information in there, general information about the day and time of the meetings, along with zip code indicators so that families can find the right fit. If a girl joins a troop through the Opportunity Catalog, an email is generated to the co-leaders, and we ask that co-leaders respond to new families within a week. Also, staff will be keeping a better eye on new folks who join, so that we can contact them and make sure that they've made contact with their new troops so that they feel welcome to the organization. Also to know, this is the year that we are automatically displaying troops who have less than 12 girls in the catalog. We've been moving toward this for several years. This is a national standard. The minimum standard is 12 girls. However, you can set your maximum in the catalog to whatever you would like. A date to know is that on May 20th, Chris and staff will begin displaying troops who have less than 12 girls in the Opportunity Catalog. The spring bonus that is tied to the cookie program has a final re-registration date of May 17th. So all those re-registrations have to get in before that date in order to get that cookie bonus. So outside of that, the message this spring is renew now, save your spot. As a reminder, by September 30th, if a girl hasn't renewed, her spot would no longer be guaranteed. A couple of words on financial aid. Starting next membership year, so this time next year, we're only going to apply financial aid toward new girls. Girl Scouting is one of the most affordable activities families can participate in, and another amazing thing about our program is that troops can be self-sufficient through earning money through the product programs and planning additional money earning activities. But for this reason, we need to reserve financial aid for those who are brand new to our organization and have not yet had the opportunity to earn money. Most troops who are participating in product programs are already doing this. You're already setting aside money for membership costs. But as a council, we just need to be more consistent in messaging that that is a standard. Are welcomed into the organization. This is the first year that we will automatically display troops who have less than 12 girls in the catalog. We've been moving toward this for several years. This is a national standard. The minimum standard is 12 girls. However, you can set your maximum in the catalog to whatever you would like. One thing to note that on May 20th, Chris and staff will begin displaying troops who have less than 12 girls in the opportunity catalog. The spring renewal bonus that's tied to the cookie program has a final registration date of May 17th. So the message this spring is save your spot and get those re-registrations in by May 17th. Something to note, by September 30th, any girls who have not renewed their spot in your troop, they will not be guaranteed a spot moving forward because you will then be displayed in the opportunity catalog. Starting next membership year, we will only apply financial aid toward new girls. Girl Scouting is one of the most affordable activities that families can participate in. And another amazing thing about our program is that troops can be self-sufficient through earning money in the product programs and planning additional money earners. So for this reason, we need to reserve financial aid for those who are brand new to our organization and haven't had the opportunity to earn money yet. Now, most troops are doing this already. Most troops who are participating in product programs already set aside money to cover membership costs. But we just need to be more consistent in messaging that that is the standard. Next, I want to share a little bit of information on our historical girl numbers, particularly in our traditional troops. This year, we have a renewed focus on a full Girl Scout leadership experience for all girls, including our outreach, or what we call our staff-led troops, that include regular badge-based meetings, outings, programs, and camp, with a renewed focus on recruiting parents or community members to take over as volunteers so that experience continues. Today I want to focus on our traditional volunteer-led girls and the data behind that. The light green indicates retained girls and the dark green indicates new girls, and you can see over the years our trajectory. We want to turn that around. We will turn that around. One, by increasing retention, by focusing on the service unit structure and our priority of supporting new volunteers. We do have to recruit more volunteers and more girls, period. We have to turn this around. We believe we can do that by focusing recruitment efforts of staff, we talked about that, and getting volunteers the tools and training that they need in order to make an impact in recruitment. For example, every single service unit will have a full recruitment kit with branded tablecloth, pop-up, girl boards, giveaways, and lots more. True story, the team is actually a couple rooms down from me right now, stuffing those big old tubs with all kinds of things for every single service unit. We must start new troops though, and ensure that all existing troops are meeting minimums, which we'll touch on later. So let's talk numbers for a minute. If we renew the same percent of girls that we did last year, and our retention rate was 52.6, that means for this next coming membership year, we will renew 4,200 girls. Look at what happens if we increase our retention. If we increase to 65%, that's an additional 1,000 girls. If we increase our retention to 75%, that is 2,200 more girls that we can keep in this mission. 65% is a national average, that is kind of the middle of the road. 75% is a good bar to reach, and it is attainable. There are many, many councils that are reaching that percentage. We know that council operations, support, and programming is absolutely crucial to our retention percentages, as well as service unit structure and consistency and communication and customer experience. All of those pieces lead to retention. This is not a campaign. There is no quick, cute renewal graphic that we can use. Retention is based on people's experiences throughout the year. Let's look at these numbers, these what-if scenarios. If we keep retention the same and our recruitment about the same, next year we will continue that decline. But let's look, if we increase retention, if we increase our new girls by certain percentages, you can see on the screen how that affects our numbers. Look what would happen if we retained 75% of our girls and just slightly increased new girls by 10%. We would next year be at 9,191 girls. We would see significant growth. And that gets even better if we keep at 75% retention and increase recruitment by 20%. It just goes up. You can see how much the retention number affects our potential for growth. It's huge. And that is why we are focusing on retention as a growth strategy for our council. Every year, troop leaders, girls, and families are invited to participate in the Voices Count survey. And there are so many pieces of information and data points that we are using to help drive some decisions that we're making. One of them, a very simple piece of data, is the NPS score. It's the Net Promoter Score. You get that score by subtracting the percentage of detractors from the percentage of promoters. Well, what does that mean? The question is very simple. It's basically, would you recommend Girl Scouting to somebody? So for the leader side, it's, would you recommend being a volunteer for this organization? So you take the percentage of people who say no, you subtract that from the percentage of people who say yes, you kind of ignore that middle of the road folks, and you get this NPS score. Our NPS score right now is 11. That is not entirely awful. We would love to see that get up to more like 25, 30 in the next year, because we know that that NPS score is so directly tied to retention. If folks are happy and supported and feel good about their role in this organization, they are going to be a promoter in this data point. So it's kind of one of those key performance indicators to watch. We should be able to correlate retention percentages increasing to this NPS score increasing. So that's one data point that we're looking at often. The Voices Count survey data gives us so much information. One of the data points asks folks who are leaving why. And here are a couple of indicators. There is a whole host of information on this, but just to give you a little glimpse, a big one is it takes too much time, too much work. So what is the council doing to make the work of being a leader more simple? How are we supporting that process? And those are the discussions that we're having, and initiatives that we're implementing will be based off of largely this information. We know a variety of experience leads to increased retention for our girls. So we've done things like implemented Super Troop. The Super Troop patch program encourages troops to be well-rounded in their experience. For example, you get points for doing programming in each of the different program pillars: STEM, outdoors, entrepreneurship, and life skills. You're earning points doing community service, participating in Girl Scout traditions. Super Troop was developed to help kind of give a view of what a well-rounded experience would be. And that wasn't, just chosen out of the blue. It was to support the pain point that we're seeing and the data that when troops have well-rounded experiences, their retention is increased. One of the reasons that retention is so important for me is that we often discuss the outcomes of the Girl Scout leadership experience. We highlight these statistics that I have on the screen as things that you will get out of Girl Scouting. But this data is based upon a girl experiencing Girl Scouts for at least 3 years. So when we go out and we promote that Girl Scouts increases your sense of self, it increases healthy relationships, we know that's when you've been with the program for some time. That doesn't happen it doesn't always happen if you're only with us for a year. So not only is retention important as a growth strategy and keeping the council in operation, but in order to stay true to what we say we do, we need to make sure that girls are sticking with us for at least 3 years. That has to be the minimum for us that we're reaching for. So next I'll jump into what we're doing as our next steps in building service unit teams. We know in order to effectively support volunteers in 22 counties, in order to properly deliver the Girl Scout leadership experience to our girls and to grow in membership through retention and recruitment, service units must be high functioning. Council staff is trying to support a more consistent experience by providing job descriptions, organizational charts, training. Staff is sending weekly updates to service unit managers to keep the flow of communication and messaging consistent. For example, a few things that we are adding to the mix this year. We outlined last year that there would be tier 1 and tier 2 positions. The only difference between the two being that tier 1 was an absolute must-have. This is bare bones, you gotta have it. Tier 2 was kind of that next step. Okay, once you have those really key gotta have them roles, here are the great to have roles to support all of the different functionalities of the service unit. We were able to identify with our service unit managers that we needed to move the events manager to tier 1 because you really just can't function as a service unit effectively if you don't have somebody who's keeping an eye on the service unit level programming that you're doing. We also realized that the membership manager position was a little overwhelming, particularly for service units who hadn't participated a lot in recruitment yet. So not to get into too many details, your service unit team can keep you up to date on these things, but we did add a new troop coordinator position. And that person essentially is the point person at each school or community center or big church that you have in your community, so that there's just kind of a man or a woman at that school or church who is kind of the point person, helps set up back to school recruitments, helps get flyers out, is kind of that main point of contact if somebody, goes up to the front desk and says, hey, I want to get involved in Girl Scouts. There's somebody at that location who can help coordinate that. We are in the final stages of developing our training for service unit financial managers and that events position. And after that, we'll have trainings for all of the tier 1 positions. We are going to focus on new troop mentors as our next phase. That is still currently a tier 2 position, but we recognize how incredibly important it is to the retention and support of our volunteers. We're focusing on service unit team building and that kind of sisterhood of being on that team. We've been tracking service unit meeting attendance to understand what efforts are working or not working. We know getting in person, face to face, seeing your sister Girl Scouts at a regularly scheduled meeting is really important for the support of our volunteers. So we've been implementing different things to see what's helping to move the needle and getting folks to come in person to those service unit meetings. And we've also been, really thinking about how do we increase the value of coming to those service unit meetings? And one of them for sure is having trainings. And many service units do that at every meeting already, but we're kind of trying to push the needle at, why. So it's got to be really important for somebody to take the time out of their evening to come in person to a meeting. Like, what's the value there? And a lot of that can be displayed through a training. Lastly, I'm so excited to just start to mention a convention in 2020 that is going to be in Orlando. It is in October of 2020, and on your screen you've got a little bit of a timeline here. What's going on right this moment is there's applications to become a national delegate. It's on our website homepage. Some information that I think is really important for you to know right now so you can start, kind of planning in your mind if you want to go. The cost per girl is $295 and the cost per adult is $345. The cost per delegate is $425. Registration and housing is going to open in January of 2020, and we will have a group at our council who is helping to coordinate our volunteers and girls taking the trip down there. So we are going to have some really clear kind of packages that you can look at for your troops, for your girls, for your families if you're wanting to join. Some really great stuff. They're starting to kind of put out information about what the sessions will look like. For example, the Global Roundtable is a gathering of all girl member organizations to connect and share best practices, to strategize about how to effectively emphasize and communicate the benefits of all girl organizations cross-culturally, and to develop a global compact and action plan to elevate the power of all girl organizations. So that's what that Global Roundtable piece is all about. Lots of great when it comes to the expo piece. They're calling it the largest girl-focused consumer show out there, and it sounds like there's going to be so many fun activities that day, that weekend. So of course, convention, the biggest part of the convening of Girl Scouts is to deal with some governance and to make some decisions on policy. But there's also this whole other part of the Girl Scout community just coming together and taking over Orlando. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm definitely going. I really can't wait to just be in the space with that many fellow Girl Scout sisters. So really looking forward to that. I'm also really looking forward to hearing your questions and ideas and concerns at Town Hall. So I'm going to pass it over to my colleagues and they'll finish the presentation, but I will see you there and have a great evening.
Hello, Karen Kelly, VP of Recruitment and Marketing here. Thank you so much for taking time to get caught up on council plans and initiatives. I can't express how much you are appreciated. I will begin with the 2 recruitment campaigns that we're currently working on. We are in the middle of Daisy launch, which runs through July. In August, although planning is well underway now, we will be into our on-time recruitment campaign, which primarily focuses in schools as girls return for an exciting school year. Some of you may recall our New Troop Challenge campaign that we began in October of 2018. This year, that campaign will coincide with back-to-school recruitments. More to come on incentives when they're determined. The goal is to start new troops with at least 2 co-leaders and 5 girls and be open to at least 12 girls. Since Daisy launches our current campaign, I'm going to give you more information on it and why we do it. Our recruiters, with the help of our membership managers, are out now meeting with pre-K girls and their caregivers. We know that parents can be anxious as they send their girls to kindergarten, and we're here to help. We also know that first-year kindergartners have the highest rate of retention into a second year. Girls who start kindergarten will remain in Girl Scouts longer, and we know from research that a girl that spends at least 3 years in the program benefits from our outcomes. Isn't that what we all want? Extended year pricing is available for all girls right now, but specifically as we talk with pre-K girls and their caregivers, we're letting them know that for $35 they can join now and participate in the summer before the 2020 membership year begins. For new volunteers, especially those forming new troops, they can begin the training process now and be ready to hit the ground running in October. Here is a quick look at the flyer we're using for volunteers and girls for Daisy launch. You will see shareable graphics on our social media pages. Please share those. We should work together to bring the Girl Scout leadership experience to girls everywhere. We need more leaders, so we need more Girl Scouts, right? Real quick, This bridges recruitment and marketing. I had to show this picture. This is a brand new Girl Scout daisy. We have these mirrors with clings of the daisy uniforms made to take to recruitments. I had one in the Greenville office, and when a little girl came in, I had to see how it looked. She saw herself in the uniform. You can tell she is ready to begin her journey in building a lifetime of leadership skills. I mentioned earlier that the planning for our on-time recruitment, mainly in schools, is already happening. Your regional recruiting managers are working with membership managers on principal meetings, dates for back-to-school events, and planning for saturation into as many schools in the 22 counties as possible. We are continuing to cultivate relationships with schools, including those that haven't historically been open to Girl Scouts. Recruitment kits are being put together for volunteer recruiters, and they are bigger and better than ever, with girl boards, Girl Scout difference banners, silicone bracelets for giveaways, stickers, and more. So our print materials should be ready later this month. Digital materials will be released in June, so definitely more to come on that. Soon we'll have an announcement on an easy way for you to order recruitment flyers so that if you're out there sharing your passion of Girl Scouts, you have something to pass on to potential leaders and girls. As I mentioned earlier, marketing and recruitment really go hand in hand. For current and coming campaigns, we have three main ways that we advertise. While we do some print, we're really upping our digital advertising game. We are geofencing Daisy Launch, meaning we have targeted areas where we know girls need our programming. Parents or caregivers of pre-K girls will be delivered digital ads on their phone when they enter those areas. We can geofence businesses like Monkey Joe's, convention centers where shows are scheduled for young girls. The technology really is something. The ads will show up as push notifications or in social media feeds. And if you happen to have a pre-K girl and are delivered one of these ads, please let me know. Customer experience knowledge helps us as we move forward and evolve our campaigns. We talk about our campaign often on Facebook and Instagram. Please share. One of our volunteers suggested at one of our last town hall meetings that we create shareable graphics to make it easier. Done. Watch and share. Television is expensive, but as new Girl Scout ads are released, we're reaching out to television stations and asking for public service announcement schedules. They cost us nothing, and since television stations require a certain amount of airtime be used for public service, we have been successful. They might air on weekend mornings or late night, but we are getting airtime. Radio stations are very good about letting us come on and interview, talk about what's happening with Girl Scouts, and we take advantage of these opportunities and are proactive in reaching out. Another great way to get the word out on a grassroots level is through you. Newspapers, especially smaller ones, community papers, are open to receiving pictures of your events with 1 or 2 lines about something great you did in the community. If you need help, please reach out. Just a quick example of how our advertising has evolved. There's a before. We sent flyers home in a backpack. We still do this and deliver them virtually to schools and caregivers through Peach Jar. But our digital game, as I mentioned, is really stepped up, with GSUSA taking the lead on the design of many campaigns. I have been here a little more than 3 years, and I've heard you when we all talk about elevating the Gold Award. Gold Award Girl Scouts do not get the recognition they deserve. GSUSA heard the same message loud and clear. New Gold Award videos and assets are being released this month. GSUSA is taking the lead on educating educators about the plan, and they're attending educator conferences. You will be seeing a lot more on the Gold Award. And our council, we're launching a year-long social media campaign focusing on our Gold Award Girl Scouts and the significance of the highest award. Stay tuned. Some of you may not know that I also drive our advocacy efforts. Our advocacy work is crucial. We need to speak up for girls in our state. In January, our legislative agenda was sent to members of the House and Senate in South Carolina. If you haven't seen it, I'm happy to send a copy. In February, we met with the South Carolina Women's Caucus. They make up Honorary Girl Scout Troop 1912. 4 new members were pinned this year. Weeks later, we were invited to the Jean Laney Harris Luncheon. This is the Women's Caucus annual luncheon. It's attended by 400 political movers and shakers in South Carolina. Both South Carolina Council CEOs were there to touch base and advocate for girls. During Girl Scout Week, while Girl Scouts are participating in Page Week, either myself, my counterpart at Eastern South Carolina, or one of the council CEOs is present to ensure we are further advocating for girls. This year during Page Week, a resolution was introduced. It was passed the following week, recognizing more than 100 years of Girl Scouts being entrepreneurs. We made sure our voices were heard during a news conference on legislation about pay equity in our state. In the next couple of months, Troop 1912, the Women's Caucus, will officially present the resolution that was passed. And in August, we will be meeting with our federal lawmakers to make sure voices of our girls are heard. I know that is a lot, and in a short amount of time. I look forward to answering any questions you have at our upcoming town halls. I'll see you soon.
Hello. Thank you for taking time to stay up to date on new initiatives that are in the works at our council to improve the girl and volunteer experience. I'm Emily McIntosh, the Vice President of Volunteer and Program Development. Up first, we have some exciting summer events that are coming up. First off, we have on July 13th, Girl Scouts Love State Parks Day, a national day for Girl Scouts across the country to show their appreciation for their local state park systems. Our council has partnered with over 7 state parks across our footprint to provide our girls the opportunity to show their love of the outdoors. On that day, girls will participate in a park-specific service project before participating in a Leave No Trace activity. All girls who attend can receive the 2019 Girl Scouts Love State Parks patch. Daisy Day, coming up on August 3rd, will introduce our Girl Scout daisies to the greater sisterhood of Girl Scouts through songs, games, and crafts. This is a great way to introduce potential daisies to our organization or to kick off Girl Scout Daisies Troop Year. All girls participating will earn their Girl Scout Daisy Promise Center. And registration for both of these events will be coming up soon in mid-May. Coming this July, GSUSA will be releasing 45 new badges and journeys in topics such as high adventure, coding, cybersecurity, and space science. The new content will premiere first on the updated VTK along with some new VTK additions. New for 2020, Cadet, Senior, and Ambassador troops will have access to the 3 original leadership journeys in an updated 6-session format. Also, Daisy, Brownie, and Junior troops will see that all of the journeys available to them have been updated to the condensed 6-session format, making it easier and more clear how to earn the leadership journeys. That's not all that's coming in July for VTK. New for the 2020 membership year, administrative volunteers will have VTK access to better assist the troops that they support. For membership year 2020, our team's focus will be on high-impact, large-scale events that will bring together girls from across the council. These large-scale events will enable increased opportunities for volunteer and program aid participation. While these events will be the main focus, we will still ensure troops and girls have access to skill-based activities that require a smaller adult-to-girl ratio by offering reoccurring events in robotics, coding, canoeing, archery, and older girl babysitting and program aid training. All of this information will be available to you in our new event guide that will be posted online on June 21st. This will provide troops and families the opportunity to get a jump on their planning for fall. To ensure that every Girl Scout has the opportunity to have a fun, engaging outdoor experience with her troop, we have revamped our required camping trainings. Sleep In and Sleep Out have been retired, and we now have Intro to Cabin Camping, which covers what you need to know to take your girls camping in a permanent fixed structure. Basic Troop Tent Camping, which will teach you what you need to know to introduce your girls to tent camping, and backpacking, which is there for you when your girls are ready to take their camping trip to the trail. These courses are progressive and build upon skills learned in prior courses, so that as you grow more comfortable with your current skills, you can add on to them. If you currently have completed Sleep In and Sleep Out, you do not need to take Intro to Cabin Camping or Basic Troop Tent Camping, as these skills were covered in your prior training. We will also continue offering archery and canoeing trainings for volunteers who would like to develop their skills in those areas, as well as developing new skills courses in other areas. GS Learn, the national online learning platform, is coming this summer. GS Learn Access will be located in your My GS tab and will be the one-stop location for all Girl Scout online courses. In addition to great council content, GS Learn will offer nationally consistent new leader trainings, making it easier for volunteers to take their training with them from council to council. Beginning with the July rollout of GS Learn, the Co-Leader Certification Program will be updated to include this new national content. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to learn more about what is coming down the line from GSUSA and Girl Scouts of South Carolina Mountains to Midlands. I know you have lots of questions, so I look forward to seeing you at our Town Hall series beginning on May 6th in Columbia.
Hello everyone, I'm Chris Bullard, Director of Business Initiatives, and I want to take a little bit of time to talk about Spring Renewal. Who could do it? Spring Renewal can be completed by co-leaders, families, and some staff. Co-leaders must be current, meaning they must have a current background check and have completed training to be able to renew and register new girls. Renewal can also be completed by family members, as well as members of the customer experience team who can log in on behalf of the member to assist with the renewal process. So to do this, you're going to go to our website at gssc-mm.org, and you'll click the My GS in the top right corner, where you will select Member Profile. This is for renewal, or for those who already have an account with us. If you're directing someone who is brand new to join your troop, you want to instruct them to click the Join Now or Volunteer Now buttons. After you select Member Profile, you'll be prompted to log in, where you'll need to put in your username, which is your email. This is the email address used to set up your account. If your email address happens to have changed recently, it will still be the original email used to set up your account. You can contact customer care for them to update that information for you. You'll need to enter your password and then click Login. If you happen to have forgotten your password, you can click there to get a password reset link sent to you, or you can also contact customer care to help you with the reset process. Once you log in, you'll be taken directly to your household profile or your family profile under the membership tab. Just some quick things to note in here. There's a current year drop-down menu where you can switch between current year and next year. And if you're looking in this household, you can see that Chris is currently a member in those roles as an adult member in Troop 88888 and as a co-leader in 77710, but he's no longer a member in those other roles that say inactive. You can also see that Michelle is not a current member, which is prompting her to renew for 2019. If I were to use the drop-down menu from current year to once I've switched over to the next year section, that's where I can be prompted to renew my roles. And when you select those drop-down menus, that's where you can find 3 new renewal choices. The first one being Renew Now. This is what I would select to renew that specific role. Please keep in mind that each role that you have must be renewed individually. That doesn't mean you pay $25 per role. It just means you're acknowledging that you're continuing the role. So I would need to select Renew Now for my adult membership as well as my co-leader role in order to move forward next year in those roles. It won't charge me $25 twice. It just ensures that I'm moving forward next year with those opportunities. Also this year, we now have an option to renew later. This would be the choice if you were still deciding whether you were going to continue in a certain role, or if you are renewing your troop and let's say you're waiting on a family to still provide the troop with the funds to complete the renewal. It would be a good selection so you can renew part of your troop and then finish up the rest later. So you'd want to select renew later. The last choice is don't renew - cancel. This is the choice you select when you know someone is not coming back to your troop. It's important to note that there are some automatic emails that get sent out when you select renew now. There's going to be a congratulations and welcome back email that's sent to the family, as well as don't renew. There's also going to be a we'll miss you next year email sent to the family. So they are aware of the choices that are being made for them in the troop. You can also see that Michelle there at the bottom does not have the option to renew because she isn't a current member. And then as always, as you're moving forward, you'll want to click the green continue button at the bottom of the screen. If you're looking to add a new girl or a new adult to your household, at the very bottom there is an add a new member to your household option. That has a drop-down menu where you select girl or adult, and then you'll click the green go button where you'll enter their information just like if you were registering for the first time. If you're a co-leader and you're looking to register your troop, you'll select the troop tab at the top of your screen. From there, you also have the current year and next year toggle button, so you can see who's currently in your troop and then who is able to renew for next year. If you are the leader for multiple troops, you can use this drop-down menu to switch between your troops. As always, you can also add new girls or adults to your troop using the option at the bottom of the screen. And again, you'll want to press continue to move forward. So what's the cost for renewal? For new girls, the option is the $35 extended year membership. So if there is a brand new member joining for the first time, their option is the $35 extended year membership. For renewing girls, the option is the $25 annual membership. New adults and volunteers can pay either the $35 extended year membership or they can go ahead and purchase a lifetime membership. And renewing adults and volunteers can select the $25 annual membership or the lifetime membership. Just some final notes. Spring Renewal keeps going, but our deadline for Spring Renewal as it relates to the Troop Cookie Bonus incentive is May 17th. There are some known hiccups in the system that we always want to remind everyone of. One is that we ask that you keep your renewals to 10 people at a time, so 10 people per transaction. This avoids things being clogged up in the system and can help prevent errors from happening. We also strongly suggest using updated versions of Google Chrome on the desktop works best. It is known that Android mobile devices are not fully compatible in the renewal process, and you'll get held up at the section where you have to enter your credit card expiration date. And also a reminder that the back button is your enemy. You always want to use continue buttons or cancel buttons. Where there's a continue button, there's also a white cancel button. and you can use that to cancel out a transaction and start from the beginning if needed. But errors do happen, and we know that, so who can you go to if something happens? You can always go to customer care, and you can give us a call at 1-800-849-GRIRL, which is 4475, or you can email us at customercare@gsse-mm.org. As you know, when you email us, and oftentimes when you call us, you'll get a case generated, which is similar to a work ticket, where we can track your request and your inquiry and get it resolved in a timely manner. So I want to talk about cases a little bit, because a lot of people want to know, how long is it going to take for us to get back to you? And so this is something we've been tracking over the years, and a lot of people want to know, what's the purpose? The purpose is accountability. We want to make sure that we're resolving your request and your issues in a timely way, and this is how we do that. So just to kind of show you some numbers over the year, you can see back in 2017, we closed 212 cases over the entire year. In 2017, it also took us an average of 118 hours, business hours, to close those cases. In 2018, we closed 2,011 cases over the entire year, and it took our council an average of 81 hours, business hours, to close each case. So far in 2019, we have closed 3,635 cases, and on average this year, it's taken us 23 hours, or right around 3 business days, to close each case. So this averages every case closed, whether some of them were really fast or some of them took us a little longer. But so far this year, it's taken us on an average of 3 days to get issues resolved and get back to our members. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We can be reached at customercare@gsse-mm.org, or you can call us at 1-800-849-4475.